Body positivity is a movement. It fights for the idea that all humans should feel good in their own body and feel positive about that. While in general I can sympathize with that, there are side effects that are actually damaging society. Quite a few topics were covered here in Discussionizer. While many of them were exciting, some of them made me angry, like the feminist topics. This one made me extremely sad. So if you stay with me, you will discover why. Fat shaming is bad, but a lifestyle that encourages obesity is equally wrong, or even worse. This movement normalizes obesity and also aims to shut down any criticism about that. It's been already proven by 2 studies I found very quickly that this movement actually leads to an increasing obesity. The first study found that if you believe that obesity or overweight people in general are more receptive, then you're gonna make shittier life choices and eat shittier. The second study found that due to the normalization of this lifestyle, people are a lot more likely to believe that they are not overweight, so they underestimate how overweight they are. I can hear people screaming already genetics. While it is an important factor, it cannot explain everything. There are of course people with hormone issues and that with a stronger body type, and that is something you cannot help with, but nobody born like that. That is not something that normally would happen with anybody. That's actually the result of poor life choices and diet for years and years. Just to give you a personal insight, I would be easily 20-30 kilo more if I wouldn't live the way I live now. I wouldn't exercise or I wouldn't follow my diet. Now, this is of course my choice, and some other people make other choices. That's totally fine. If they feel happy about their body and if it's alright for them, that's good. But they should not be delusional about the effects, and they should not be glorified either. They carry a huge health risk. In the US, 70 to 80% of the population is overweight or obese. It's huge if you think about it. I'm not sure if you get that joke, but it was pretty lame, isn't it? So anyway, getting back to the topic, that goes equally for men and women. While in men the increase was 30%, in women it was 40% since 1960. In only a couple of decades, the percentage of fat people doubled effectively. Obesity contributes to 100,000 to 400,000 deaths per year in the United States only. It costs society about $120 billion per year. It's about 10% of the US healthcare budget. I mean, if you think about this, this is insane. That's a lot more money than they spend on the health risk related to smoking. In other EU countries, the numbers are a little bit better, but the trends are equally alarming. Since 1975, the percentage of obese or overweight people increased by 30%. So let's have a quick look of a good representation of this lifestyle. Tess Holliday, plus size model, who is 140 kilo and 160 centimeter.
I'm Tess Holliday and I'm a badass woman. When I heard the term body positive, I thought, wait, like, I don't have to hate myself. And the irony is that I was about maybe 70 pounds, 75 pounds lighter than I am now. And I love myself now more than I did when I was smaller, because I just realized that I could have the great life I wanted regardless of my size.
If you are morbidly obese like this woman, you should not feel great. You should move out of your comfort zone. You should do something about your life, because that one is not body positivity. This is a medical condition, and you should not settle for that. You heard it yourself. She was pretty big already before she came across with the body positive movement. She now feels a little bit better, but she put up another 35 kilo on herself. I mean, that is totally insane. That proves, of course, already the previous points that we were talking about. That should not be promoted. Yet she made it to the front page of Cosmopolitan.
In Britain right now, we have the worst incidence of obesity in Europe. And here are you as an editor of a very popular magazine telling women it's fine to be 300 pounds. I don't get it.
believe you think that. I do not believe you think that.
You are
celebrating
morbid obesity.
I am not celebrating
That's what you're
morbid
doing.
obesity.
Health thing is, where you would not put somebody on the front with a bottle of vodka, an alcoholic, or somebody with drugs, embracing drugs.
Not the same.
It is.
Putting an obese woman on billboards everywhere in the world or in the front page of a magazine, it's good, isn't it? Your sales might go up because it's quite provocative, and particularly women who are a little bit less fat will feel a lot better because that girl made it to the front page. But I don't think that should be the goal. It doesn't promote healthy lifestyle, and putting somebody who is a medical condition on front page is sick and damaging. According to research, obesity or being really overweight will diminishes your life expectancies by 5 to 20 years. On the other hand, it also contributes in general to death by about 15%. Now let's hear some expert opinion about that.
Let's face it, if you are too fat, you are on death row. You are on death row. We know that being too fat means that it can trigger cancer, stroke, heart disease, the list goes on.
Normalizing, glorifying, glamorizing obesity is very dangerous because fat is never normal. Fat is dangerous. Fat is toxic. Fat produces a cascade of destructive hormones that cause inflammation all around the body. The main thing is that when you're fat, your metabolism is haywire. People who are fat go on to high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and worst of all, cancer. Encouraging unhealthy life choices and denying that there are health risks is not promoting body positivity.
Jess.
For me, it's like smoking advertisement. Just because lots of people would feel better or more accepted, we shouldn't do that. It's unhealthy and gives a really negative message for the next generations. Speaking of the next generation, when it comes to kids, we have an extremely shocking trend as well. From the 60s, the percentage of overweight kids went up from 5% to 16%. That is crazy. We are not only irresponsible for ourselves, but we also setting up the next generation to an extremely damaging and unhealthy situation. As a verdict, I don't think that body shaming or guilt are the answers for fat people. Those things would just make everything worse. However, promoting extremities in body, including the skinny-ass anorexic models, are just horrible and bad examples for society. I think the way to go is to promote people with a healthy lifestyle, and particularly the ones who were fat and get out of it by pulling their life together. That's a positive message. For me, that would be body positivity. So that was my opinion about the topic. But what is your opinion? I'm really curious about that. So if you think you're a positive example and would like to reach more people, I'd be more than happy to have you as a guest for an informal video session. Alright guys, that was another episode of Discussionizer. I hope you liked it. Please leave some comments and subscribe.